Thank you very much. You may be seated. May you not miss your time of visitation.
Que tu ne passes pas à côté de ton temps de visitation.
Because for some of you,
Parce que
you are
certains
just a
d'entre nous,
small church beginning.
nous sommes une église qui démarre.
And what you are learning here at the very onset of it, if you put this thing in place,
Mais ce que tu es en train d'apprendre aujourd'hui, si tu
like
les mets
the
en
team
pratique,
said,
comme
10 years, 15 years, you will still be relevant
d'ici
because
10
everything
à 20
is
ans,
structured.
tu seras encore persistant parce que tout sera structuré.
I grew up in the barracks, son of a soldier. If you want an institution that is well structured,
Si on veut parler
It is the army.
d'institution qui est bien structurée, c'est l'armée.
when they put their shoulder to something,
Quand ils mettent l'accent sur quelque chose,
I had opportunity of being in a meeting with the very top high command of the army because we had to discuss something that had to do with the bereavement that we suffered.
j'ai rencontré un grand commandant de l'armée.
And during the discussion,
Et pendant la discussion,
when we're looking at timeline,
pendant qu'on parlait de la durée dans le temps,
and we're thinking that we need to start a process early,
et qu'on disait qu'on a besoin d'établir un processus,
the CDS looked at me and said, mobilization is not a problem for the Ghana Army.
le Seigneur, il m'a regardé, il m'a dit que la mobilisation,
Il fait-
c'est pas un problème ici au Ghana.
All we need to do
Tout
is
ce dont
to
nous avons
draft the
besoin.
instruction and give it to the units.
C'est de donner les
And
instructions.
this will be done in just 1 week. I'm
Et tout
sitting there
sera
and say,
fait en
wow.
seulement une semaine.
Because the system is structured.
Parce que le système est déjà structuré.
Everybody knows his or her role to play.
Chacun connaît son rôle à jouer.
There is no confusion, there is no
Il
overlapping.
n'y a pas de confusion.
So why is organizational structure very important?
C'est pour cela que la structure organisationnelle
If
est
your
importante.
organization or your church is structured,
Quand ton église est
it
structurée,
gives guidance to the people in the organization, whether they be employees or church people. It gives them guidance as to who to report to, who is in charge of anything in the organization. Everything is done according to rules and regulations.
ça donne des directives de qui fait quoi, à qui est-ce qu'on doit se référer en cas de quoi.
When you lay a structure now, what it does is that as your organization grows, you just add up to the structure.
Alors qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire dans la structure quand
So
l'organisation
start when
grandit?
you are even 10 people.
Il suffit de croître aussi la structure.
Let them know the things that we've talked about, their procedures, their rules, their regulations, their technology. Things are done in a particular way. Even
Alors-
before the people come, draft your job structure that this organization, based on our vision and a mission, this is what we anticipate to do in the future. So that as you grow, you fill in those places.
Alors que pendant que des personnes rejoignent ton organisation, tu dois leur faire comprendre ce que vous avez mis en place, vos plans pour les années à venir, afin qu'ils puissent s'adapter et s'accorder à ces choses.
Bishop was talking about Winners Chapel, David Oyedepo. You see, if you want to be successful,
Si on veut parler
find
de
out what
l'église-
successful people have done.
L'église Une Chapelle, par exemple, si tu veux avoir du succès, alors fais attention à ce que des hommes de succès
There is
ont
no
fait.
hidden secret.
Il n'y a pas de secret caché.
The things that we learned when we talked about mental structure,
Tout ce que nous avions étudié auparavant quand on a parlé de structure
acquiring
mentale,
knowledge, learning,
acquérir la
having
connaissance,
understanding.
apprendre, avoir une compréhension.
When Bishop Oyedepo will tell you that from the very onset, we put structure in place, even concerning our financial structure, when we were just earning 81 naira, the structures were there.
Tout est structuré.
Before we
Même quand tu
started
gagnes
earning
peu,
billions, the structures were there.
pendant que tu gagnes peu, il faut que la structure soit là, de sorte que quand tu gagnes des millions, la structure soit toujours là pour t'aider.
I heard him say that before they started Covenant University, he said I went around, gathered information on Oxford, on Harvard, on Yale, on all the top universities. He said, I spent months reading what made these universities the top university. I looked at every university structure, studied all this university.
Alors il m'a dit, avant de créer son université, il a étudié les universités qui sont déjà populaires dans le monde. Comment est-ce qu'elles marchent? Qu'est-ce qu'elles ont fait pour être là où elles sont?
He said, in order to have an understanding, I said, by the time I finished, I came to conclusion that of all this, Harvard structure is the best. So I said to myself, Covenant will be the next Harvard in Africa.
Alors, après avoir analysé tout ça, j'ai compris que la structure
By
de
10 years of its
l'école
existence,
Harvard est la
it became
meilleure.
the top university in Nigeria. So when you have structure, you cannot miss out. Your rising will be speedily.
Alors, quand tu regardes à une bonne structure et que tu la copies, alors tu es sûr d'obtenir de bons résultats.
May God help you.
Que Dieu nous aide.
Live here with structure in
Repars
mind.
d'ici avec une
Go
structure
back
en
and
tête.
implement, no matter how small your organization is, the things that you are learning. Make sure that you have a strategy in place. Make sure you have a structure in place. Make sure that you have group relationship in place. Make sure that you even have a reward system. Before you get more pastors, when we start having pastors, how are we going to pay them? What is going to be the structure? Make sure that these things are in place.
Assure-toi que tout ce que nous avons étudié aujourd'hui soit mis en place.
Bishop, when I started our outreach,
Quand j'ai
para-outreach
commencé-
organization going to the village, a structure was in place.
Quand j'ai commencé à sortir,
We said this
pour
is a
évangéliser,
volunteer job.
j'ai mis une structure en place. Je me suis dit,
So
ça c'est un
anybody
travail
who comes,
volontaire.
you are just to help to do God's work. We are going to the villages. We are not going to take offering. We don't get money there. We are taking money there.
Alors on s'est dit que nous partons apporter l'évangile. Nous n'allons pas organiser des offrandes. C'est plutôt nous qui allons offrir des choses.
Then a very close friend of mine,
Et un ami à moi,
in fact, he started ministry when I was in school.
qui a
And
commencé le
I
ministère quand
honor
j'étais
those who
encore à
need to be
l'école.
honored. I tell people that the person who ushered me into prayer and taught me prayer is this guy.
Et je dis toujours que c'est lui qui m'a
He was known
amené
by
dans le
my
ministère.
family. He was older than me.
Il était plus âgé que moi et connu de ma
But when I
famille.
started the parachurch organization, he had his challenges with ministry.
Mais quand
Then
j'ai
he came and
commencé
he said,
à organiser mon église,
Danny, I want to do this with you. You are busy working. I want to be the one that will do the outreach. I believe in structures. We've sat down. Everything was well structured. How we are going to go about it.
il a dit, je veux me joindre à toi. Et puisque je crois en la structure, on s'est assis, on a tout structuré, on a tout mis
I
en
was the
place.
main financier with my friends and everything. You said right. When people know your integrity, they will support your vision.
J'étais en charge de ce
So
qui
we
est
started.
finance. Et quand les gens connaissent ton intégrité, ils vont,
The
ils
things
vont
that we
facilement confiance en
agreed
toi.
upon, when we started and money started coming in so that we're expanding the outreach.
Quand nous avons commencé, ce sur quoi nous nous étions entendus,
One day, this friend of mine came,
un
called
jour il est
me,
venu vers moi.
and said, I need to talk to you.
Il m'a dit, je dois te parler.
I was driving in town when you called me that, are you in the office? I said, I'm getting to the office. So I need to talk to you. I said, okay, let's meet in the office.
Alors,
Immediately,
j'ai dit,
I hung the
rencontrons-nous.
phone. The Lord told me what he was going to tell me.
Avant même qu'on ne se voie, Dieu m'a déjà dit ce qu'il devait me dire.
So by the time I got to the office, I was ready for him.
Alors quand je l'ai rejoint, j'étais déjà prêt pour lui.
And then he sat in front of me.
Et il s'est assis en face de moi.
He said, you know, I've worked with other organizations
Il a
and
dit que tu sais que j'ai travaillé avec d'autres
they've
organisations.
not treated me well.
Ils ne m'ont pas traité bien.
And now that we've started this
Et
organization
maintenant qu'on a
and
commencé ensemble
things are taking off,
et que les choses commencent à
I want
évoluer,
to know what your plans are for me
je veux
concerning
savoir quels sont tes plans pour
financial
moi
reward and all those things, salary.
concernant les récompenses
I call him
financières,
senior.
c'est-à-dire le salaire et autres.
And by the grace of God, I have good memory. So I said, Senior, do you remember on the 3rd of April when
Eh.
we met at the Achimota forest to pray and we sat down to plan this thing? Do you remember what we said and
Eh,
what I said?
Je lui ai rappelé du jour où on s'est assis pour mettre en place la structure de notre projet. Et
I
je lui ai
said, give
dit,
me one good reason why we do outreach once in a month And it is a 3-day outreach using film.
Je lui ai
And that
dit,
is sponsored. Your food, your everything, the team, I give money, you go and do the outreach, and then you come back. And I give you allowance for those 3 days.
je lui ai dit, dis-moi la raison pour laquelle nous faisons des campagnes d'évangélisation de
So
3
why
jours.
would this
où on
organization
dépense.
that is starting up be paying you monthly salary when you do only 3 days work in a month as an outreach, and you are giving salary, you are giving allowance and food and everything and vehicle to go and do the outreach? Why should we be paying you monthly salary? Because the rest of the day, what do you do?
Alors je dis, mais quelle organisation va te payer pour seulement 3 jours de travail dans le mois, alors que pendant ces 3
are
jours-là
sitting in
même,
front of me in
on
my
te donne
office.
ce qu'il faut.
I said, you know what? I find it very offensive.
Je
And
lui ai
he's a
dit,
senior one. I
de
said, I
façon
find
très
it
offensive.
very offensive for you to sit in front of me and tell me that other people have not treated you well. So you want to find out how I'm going to treat you. Now I have an answer for you.
Je dis, c'est très offensant pour toi de t'asseoir en face de moi et de dire les autres ne sont pas bien
This
traités.
is
Alors
the
moi, je dois
structure
bien
of the
te traiter.
organization.
C'est la
It's not going to
structure
change.
de l'organisation, ça ne va
We
pas
won't take
changer.
people's money to pay salaries when people are not working.
Nous n'allons pas prendre l'argent des gens pour payer des salaires
I
pendant
won't
que
put
les
my
autres ne
money
travaillent
into
pas.
this and to finance laziness.
Je ne veux pas financer la paresse.
So I give you 2 options to make this thing easy.
Alors je te donne 2 choix possibles.
Either you go with what we have agreed on,
Soit tu continues
Or you
selon
have the liberty
ce
to
qu'on s'est
quit.
entendu, ou alors tu te retires.
then he said he has heard me. He will come and give me the answer the
Et il a dit
following
qu'il
week.
va me revenir.
The following week he came.
Quand il est revenu,
He had a letter.
il avait une lettre.
When he gave it, I said, sit down, let me read. I read
Je lui ai dit,
all sorts of
assieds-toi et j'ai lu
things.
la
He
lettre.
said he has resigned. And don't judge me. I'm a very firm and strict
Et il me
person.
dit qu'il donne sa démission.
Immediately I read,
Dès que j'ai lu,
I ended.
j'ai terminé.
I said, Senior, that is fine by me.
Je lui ai dit, c'est OK
You
avec
opted
moi.
to go.
Tu as choisi de partir.
The mobile phone you are using,
Ton téléphone que tu
it
utilises,
is not me, it is the organization that bought it for you.
ce n'est pas moi, c'est l'organisation qui a
It
acheté ça
was
pour toi.
meant to be used for the outreach work.
Ça a été fait pour le
So
travail
now that you are not
d'évangélisation.
in charge of outreach,
Alors maintenant que tu n'es plus en charge de
take
cela,
your SIM out
enlève ta
and
puce
give me the mobile
et
phone.
donne le téléphone à l'organisation.
He was looking at me. I said, Senior, it
m'a
has
regardé.
nothing to do with our
Je
friendship.
dis, ça n'a rien de
This,
personnel.
if I bought a phone for you, I'll give it to you for free.
Si c'était moi qui l'avais acheté, j'allais te le donner
But this
cadeau.
phone belongs to We Care Mission. It was
Mais-
We Care Mission's money.
Ce téléphone
It
appartient
is
à la
meant for
mission
the outreach director.
et c'est fait pour
If you are no
le
longer the
directeur de
outreach
ce
director,
projet.
leave the phone, take your SIM card out. I'll give the phone to the next outreach director.
Si tu n'es plus à la tête de ce projet, alors tu me donnes le téléphone, je vais le donner au
You have
prochain
3
directeur.
days to return to me every material of the organization that is with you. Don't let me come to your house for it.
Tu as
I
3
need it
jours
3
pour
days
retourner
now.
tout ce qui appartient à l'organisation.
We are close friends, so
On était des amis vraiment très proches.
I don't want to tell you what happened after.
Je ne veux pas vous dire ce qui est arrivé, peut-être après.
I stuck my grounds.
Parce que j'avais déjà...
Structure is structure.
Les choses étaient déjà en place. Une structure, c'est une structure.
So that your organization will remain. So that if anybody is coming, he knows that here we don't do those kind of things. So
De sorte à ce que quand une personne
So
nouvelle
start
arrive,
now.
elle comprenne qu'on ne joue pas avec ce genre de choses. Alors commence dès maintenant.
you have a potential to rise.
Tu as
I said
vraiment
you
un
have a
potentiel
potential
de
to be big.
grandir.
You have a potential to have a regional influence.
Tu as le
Not just a
potentiel
local
d'avoir
champion.
une
You have a
influence
potential to
régionale.
have a national influence.
Une influence
But it
nationale.
starts with your beginning.
Mais ça
Put
commence
the right
avec
structure
ton
in
début.
place. And the God who has structure in place in heaven, that same God will make sure that whatever you put in place, He blesses it so that you can fly like the eagle. Come on, put your hands together for the Lord.
Mets la structure nécessaire en place et Dieu va se charger du reste.
Check God. God is very structured.
Dieu est très structuré, organisé.
See how He has structured heaven.
Regarde comment il a organisé les cieux.
Even from His throne
Même
and
de
the
son
angels, everything is structured.
De son trône jusqu'aux anges, tout est structuré, tout est
And so
organisé.
what do you think God will be looking at if this is His work? If heaven is so very structured,
Si les cieux qui sont son œuvre sont aussi bien organisés.
The angels have leaders, the structures, we have archangels, we have the cherubim, the sun. Everything is well structured.
Nous avons
The
les
throne room
archanges,
is
nous avons les
structured.
anges, et tout est structuré.
So why would you want to build this work and do it anyhow?
Alors pourquoi est-ce que tu veux commencer son œuvre et la faire de n'importe comment?
Whatever have plagued you that you don't want to put structure in place, whatever is your motive and your reasoning, because you are here, it's a detoxing. Whatever is preventing you from putting structures in place, we are bringing a spiritual bulldozer. We are bulldozing it all of your way.
Tout ce qui t'empêche de mettre une structure en place, nous envoyons un bulldozer contre ça.
One of the ways you detox is that you use syringe, bentwa. Now what's so? If there is anything in heaven
S'il y a quelque chose dans le ciel
that is like bentwa,
qui est comme,
then I ask the angels, anybody here you don't want to put in structure, may the angels come with that bentwa and give you some animals so that you will be detoxified.
que toute personne ici qui refuse de mettre en place une structure soit frappée.
Because of chop, put structure in place and you go places.
Mets une
Amen.
structure en place.
So the 7 key elements of every organizational structure is number 1,
Les 7 éléments clés d'une organisation sont
departmentalization.
la départementalisation.
If you see an organization that is structured, it is departmentalized.
Quand vous voyez une organisation bien structurée, elle est divisée en
Music
départements.
department, ushers department,
le département
finance
musical,
department,
le département
departmentalization. It's not
financier.
like the three people who say puto gum shiengum ninia kwansen kronara debi. It is departmentalized.
Tout est divisé en départements.
So put structure in place, and as you grow, maybe now you don't have a ushering department, but your structure is that when I get ushers, it has to be a department. There should be people who are handling finance. Let everything be departmentalized. We are not saying that for now you are small, so go and create, but do your structure down so that as you grow, you know that this is my vision, this is how I'm going to run the organization.
Alors, ce n'est pas parce que ton église est petite que tu ne vas pas penser au département. Mets la structure en place de sorte que plus l'église grandit, plus les départements qui
Every
s'ajoutent
good
dans ton
organizational
plan.
structure, you can see departments.
Dans
The
chaque
next thing you
organisation, il y a
can
des
see is
départements.
that there is a chain of command.
Nous allons parler de
Who reports to who supervises who. Every well-structured organization, there is a chain of command.
la chaîne de commandement, c'est-à-dire qui répond, c'est-à-dire à qui
And then
tu te
there is a
réfères.
span of control. If we can get somebody to change her, she's talked so much, she's getting tired. Yeah. Any French person, I know you are tired because we ourselves, when we talk, we get tired. Or can somebody interpret for them there? Are you good? Or in English? Oh, be bold. Hey, be bold. The people are clapping for you. Come. Let's put our hands together for Anne. She's done very well. Okay, ça va?
Merci bien. Ça va, merci.
Comment s'appelles-tu?
Je m'appelle Samuel.
John.
Samuel.
Samuel. Okay, merci. So Samuel, we're going to flow. That means you're French, no? Many break. Apostolic Summit. Okay, so Samuel, let's flow. So I said the first is departmentalization. The next is that every structured organization, there is a chain of command. You know who reports to who. The structure is there that we know who supervises who. From the bottom to the top, there is a clear change of command.
Ce qu'il a dit, c'est que Il faut avoir des départements et puis il faut aussi qu'il y a des chaînes de commandes.
The next is that there is a span of control. When we say span of control, you see, you want to know where a person's authority begins and ends. A person's power begins and ends. So when you even have the structure, there's a span of control. If you take an organization, you see that the CEO at the top, everybody is under him. So that means he controls everybody. Then, but you find some people, maybe head of accounts department, you only find that he only controls accounting staff. The rest of the people, he doesn't control them. That is what we mean by span of control.
Et aussi, il faut qu'on connaisse qui contrôle qui et puis à quel niveau votre pouvoir pour être arrêté.
Every well-structured organization, you can see centralization and decentralization.
Donc, dans chaque organisation, on voit la centralisation et puis la décentralisation.
What do I mean by that? There are certain decisions that can only be taken by people in a certain position, or only the headquarters or only the head pastor will take those decisions. That is centralized. Then there are other decisions that he has allowed other people at other levels to also take decisions so that everything will not rest upon him. So centralization and decentralization.
Donc, il y a certaines décisions, c'est le pasteur qui peut prendre certaines décisions. Et puis, il y a d'autres aussi qu'il peut donner à certaines personnes à faire.
Don't say you've decentralized, but still, when the people take the decision, they should come and cross-check with you first, but before the decision can be taking place. You are micromanaging. Then you must as well get the whole thing and do it yourself. But when you put these structures in place, when you are not there, things will be done because there is centralization, there is decentralization.
Donc, quand on met sur place ces choses, quand même vous n'êtes pas là, les choses vont se passer bien.
The next thing you find in a structured organization is that there is work specialization. There is work specialization.
Il y a aussi la spécialisation du travail.
So we assign work to those who know how to do the work. Specialization.
Ça veut dire on donne le travail à des personnes qui peuvent le faire.
So the fact that you are my cousin or my brother, and I'm afraid that maybe because the church money, we have to make sure that it stays within. So my brother, you be the head of finance. When he knows nothing about finance, no. Work specialization. Make sure that the people that you assign work to in your organization, they have the requisite skill and experience to be doing that job. Every good organization has work specialization.
Donc, dans ce cas, il faut donner le travail à des personnes qui peuvent le faire. Non pas seulement parce qu'ils sont des relations ou bien sont les amis.
The next thing you see is what we call the degree of formalization.
Prochainement, on va voir le degré de formalisation.
What do I mean? A good organizational structure, you must be able to, for some things, we can take decision by word of mouth. For some things, it must be formal.
Ça veut dire qu'il y a certaines choses qu'on peut prendre les décisions juste en parlant, certaines choses aussi, il faut qu'on écrit.
So let's say we have an organization and then we are doing a prophetic summit. And then one of Bishop's aides come and say, Papa, we are short of water. Then he say, we are here. He say, okay, go and take the requisition form. Write the requisition. Go to the admin. Let the admin sign upon it. Let it go to the accountant. Let the accountant raise a voucher. And then let two people sign before we go and buy water.
Par exemple, aussi, on a au samedi ici et puis on a besoin de l'eau. Et puis, quelqu'un vient de parler au bishop. Et le bishop dit, il faut faire ça, ça, ça et ça avant qu'on
There are some things that it has to be formal.
Il y a certaines choses, ça doit être
But know
formal.
that there are other things also that if you make them formal, the organization will be stagnant. So the degree of your formalization, what are the things that we must go through rigid procedures to make it happen? And what are the things that we can easily take decisions without going through a formalized process? That degree determines how organization goes faster.
Donc,
We call it bureaucracy.
Donc, il faut qu'on sache qu'il y a certaines choses qu'on doit les faire dans une manière vite, non pas d'une manière formelle, parce que ça va durer.
Last year, I talked about the different structures that you can put in place. So get the tape. You will find out how a functional structure looks like, how a divisional type, when your organization grows big and you have branches in different regions and different nations, what kind of structure do you have? That is where you will have names like general overseer, regional overseer, depending on the nature of your organization. But as you are growing, as a small organization, basically you have a functional structure. And when we say functional structure, the head pastor, the heads of the various departments, the departments, those who are functioning as heads of department will be those who will be in that structure. As you grow, you can add up to that.
Donc, premièrement, il faut mettre en place les fonctions des structures.
And let me say this in passing. When you put a structure in place, adhere to it. It will bring integrity and respect. Don't bend the rules to favor other people. No.
Et c'est important de noter que quand on met une structure en place, il faut
If you're a
respecter la
leader and you're
structure.
afraid of stepping on people's toes and you're afraid of people saying bad things about you, you are not ready to be a leader.
Si tu es un leader, il ne faut pas avoir peur que les gens vont te critiquer. Il faut prendre les
Stay
décisions.
focused, do what is right. At the end of the day, those who criticize you, they will come back and salute you that you've done very well. And so stay on course.
Si tu fais ce qui est vrai, ce qui est bon, les gens vont te remercier après.
I want to quickly help you. Those of you who already have big ministries and those who are aspiring by the grace of God to grow your ministry, how you create jobs or work functions in the organization so that every work that you create, and when I say job or work, it's not for churches, most of the work is not paid job. But once you assign people to perform certain functions in the organization, it is a job you've given them. How do you make sure that the kind of jobs that you create in the organization are the kind of jobs that will help you to achieve your goals, so that you don't create jobs that will actually fight you from achieving your goals? I want to quickly go through that before my time is up.
Maintenant, il va nous montrer comment créer le travail dans l'organisation.
Oh, Tuesday, I had time. I was flowing. And I said, I love Apostle. Then I come today. I have to share my 1 hour with somebody. So now I'm moving on a half scale. If it is 1 hour, I talk 30 minutes because I have to allow the French people, you to learn English. Learn. You've been here with us. I've taught you learning. So next year, go and buy a dictionary and start learning. Me and Apostle will learn small French also, but you to learn English. So that when we come next time, if I have 1 hour, I have 1 hour. If I have 30 minutes, I have 30 minutes. Don't interpret that one. I don't want trouble. Don't interpret that one. But how do you design proper jobs in your organization, in your church? There are 3 principles that you must follow anytime you are creating work in church for people to do.
Il y a certains principes pour suivre si vous voulez créer des fonctions dans l'église.
The first one is the principle of job title.
C'est le premier, c'est le principe de titre de travail.
And the job title is derived from job function, and I'll explain to you.
Et le titre, ça a dérivé de fonction de travail.
So, if I create a position as music director,
Donc, si j'ai créé une position de...
now I'm going to step in on, I'm going to dangerous grounds, but it will help you because there are a lot of things we do in error that we don't know. If I create and I use the word, and I'll ruffle your nest, but don't worry, I just want you to do the right thing because the job title must be derived from the job function. And I've seen that most of the time we give titles that has nothing to do with the function. So, you give a title like music director. Okay. The moment you give a title like music director, a director means that there are other sub-leaders that are under him and he is the director. So, if you have to choose music leader or choir leader, and a choir director, from where I stand professionally, the moment you introduce this person, that this is our choir director, you give me the impression that you have different choirs in the church. Youth choir, this choir, and this one is the director of the choir. That means that when I come to the youth, I will have youth choir leader, men's choir leader, and these leaders have a director. But when there is only one choir, one music, and you use the word choir director, who is he directing?
Ce qu'il a dit, c'est si, par exemple, on dit que quelqu'un est le directeur
We want you to be professional.
de la chorale, ça veut dire qu'il y a d'autres chorales, il y a plusieurs chorales, et puis la personne va diriger toutes les chorales. Mais s'il y a un chorale, donc ce n'est pas bon de dire.
The first principle is that every title or designation must be based on the function.
Donc,
so if you are not functioning in the title that have been given you, there is a mismatch.
Donc si on ne fonctionne pas selon le titre, donc ce n'est pas bon.
And it's not only the church, the corporate, the business world, especially the small businesses who are supposed to know better. They do it and so they bring it to the church. While we shop near back home. When you give card, you say managing director. How do you be a managing director? What you sell is just Bell Aqua water in a small kiosk, and you've written on top of there Efuachia Enterprise or Ventures, but then your card is that you are the managing director of Efuachia Enterprise. Who are you directing and managing? Because the managing director means that there are other managers and you are directing them. So don't be taking, you give some of the people titles in church, they feel too big, but they are not functioning.
Donc, il dit, quand on donne certains titres aux gens dans l'église, et puis ils n'ont pas de fonction,
me tomorrow
ça
I'm going
crée
to
des
Accra.
problèmes.
So if after today they take your post from you, don't blame me. I just came to share the word that. But if you want to be professional, anytime you give a title in church, for any job, for any position, ask yourself, what is the function of this title? The work he's doing, does it go with the title that we have given him? That's all. So that you get the appropriate title.
Ça veut dire, à chaque fois qu'on donne un travail à quelqu'un, la question c'est, est-ce que la fonction de ce titre-là, ça correspond?
The second principle, as we create jobs in the church, is that the principle of non-overlapping or duplication of functions. Non-overlapping or duplication of functions It means that when you create jobs, make sure that the function that one person is performing is not the same function that another person is performing, that you've given the person another title, but the function is still the same. When you do that, you have overlapping and duplicating.
Ok, il ne faut pas faire une situation où deux personnes font la même chose. Il faut que chaque personne a une chose où il fasse.
Account officer 1, account officer 2, account officer 3. Are they all not just account officers? So what is account officer 1 doing? That is different from what account officer 2 is doing. It's just because we want to make sure that we are creating titles for people to feel good. No. There shouldn't be overlapping. And if you are not careful, you fight the vision and the goal of the organization.
Si on ne met pas les choses comme ça, ça va créer des problèmes dans l'organisation.
One of the problems I have with today's charismatic churches is that most of them have not properly defined the functions of meeters and greeters and ushers. It's a thin line. And so you will find that most of the time, meeters and greeters are fighting with ushers. Because let's be realistic. Okay, if you want to create that kind of positioning in your church, then you are saying that let ushers stay in the auditorium and stay at vantage points for sitting positions. So theirs is once you enter the auditorium and you are in the auditorium, the usher ushers you to the seat. And then if your church is such that car park, before you get to the main auditorium, there is a distance, then you say, let's create greeters and meeters. Before you enter the auditorium, you are welcome. If there are certain materials they want to give you, you are welcome. These are our Sunday services, blah, blah, blah. If they have to give you offering envelope, the meeters and greeters give you that. If you want the ushers also to do that, make that the ushers will be, as they usher you to your seat, then they give you. Let it be clear, defined. But sometimes if you look at the structure of the organization, immediately you get to the church, the church, there is no distance. You enter the sitting position. So where the gentleman is standing, you say he is the meter and the greeter. And then next is the usher. The question is, if you are not careful and you don't properly even differentiate them, the person who is coming to church, when he meets the person at that same place, he's expecting that you have to take me to your seat. So let's make sure that when we create jobs, there shouldn't be overlapping of functions. There shouldn't be duplication of functions. Let's make sure that it is clear so that everybody knows what he is doing.
Donc, il faut bien définir le travail des gens pour que chacun sache c'est quoi il doit faire dans l'église.
So, conductor. Must the music leader always be a conductor? Is the conductor a professional job? That because you have the skill, you are the conductor of the choir. But if you are the music leader, you take administrative decisions as to how the choir should function. Or must the music leader or the choir master be the one who is training them how to sing? Or you are looking for somebody who will do managerial and organizational things for the choir to be the choir leader. These are things that you have to discuss and make sure that the functions are very clear.
Donc, quand on bien définit le travail des gens dans l'église, toutes choses vont se passer bien.
You don't duplicate the functions.
Pas dupliquer les fonctions.
And then the principle of clear definition of duties.
Ça, c'est
Clear definition of duties.
Ça, c'est le principe de la définition des fonctions.
So when you have more than 3 or 4 protocol officers, make sure that you don't leave anybody to do anything. Make sure that you are 4, but this is your function in the protocol. this is your function. So that if there is something that is not right, you know that this one is in charge of it. So that you don't have them fighting that I thought that as soon as you would do it, why didn't you do it? And then in front of you say that, but why didn't you do it? Aren't we all in the protocol department? Even in the protocol department, make sure that the functions are well defined and they are clear.
Donc elle dit que quand les fonctions sont bien définies, quand quelque chose n'est pas fait, tu vas savoir qui n'a pas fait son travail.
Are we together on that? These are little things, but it will make your organization very professional.
Ce sont des petites choses, mais ils sont très importantes pour avoir une organisation.
The next thing is that describe the job properly so that the person understands what he's supposed to do.
Il faut donner une bonne description de ce que la personne doit faire.
A good job description, and don't say it's just their pastors. I've had opportunity of doing restructuring for some of these charismatic churches, and I've seen that some of the challenges they have is because certain things are not well defined. So when it comes to salaries and everything, you ask yourself that, okay, he is zonal leader. He's an apostle. This one is a reverend minister. This one is a pastor. Then I'm asking them, when there is a change in title, does it go with salary? Does it go with something? Because for some of them, the structure is such that immediately you are given a certain title, it means that you are a senior. Then at the same organization, they are saying that these are senior pastors because they've been with us for a long time. Okay, but they are called reverends, and they say they are senior pastors. And then we have young people that have been given apostles. And then based on the structure, it's like the apostles are higher than the reverend ministers. But when it comes to salary, and then in terms of clout of respect, it's like because of age and how the people have been there, the apostles are still subservient to the senior reverend minister. So when it comes to decisions, there is a whole lot of confusion. Make things very clear so that there will be no confusion when the church grows and when you're administering things. Everybody knows that this is my job. The description is clear. These are my roles, these are my functions, these are my position in terms of authority in the structure. Make it very clear.
Donc, la plupart des problèmes qu'on a dans les églises, c'est parce que les choses ne sont pas bien définies. Donc, les personnes ne savent pas ce qu'ils doivent faire ou bien ce qu'ils ne doivent pas faire.
So when you are describing job, you ask yourself these two key questions. What does the job involve?
Il faut te demander.
And what kind of person will be best to fit the job?
Qu'est-ce que ce travail-là?
So let me give you
qui est
a humorous one
qui peut le bien faire?
so that it drives home the point. Let's say CRIC decides that because of terrorism and danger of things, we need a bodyguard for Bishop. Based on what I'm saying, a good job description for a bodyguard, we want to ask ourselves these two questions. What does the job of a bodyguard involve? Then we say, oh, he must be somebody who should be able to protect the bishop from physical and all forms of attack. Okay, what does the job involve? Is he going to drive the bishop or there will be a driver? They say, no, he won't drive the bishop, he will be by the bishop if there is any physical attack and contact. Then based on that, then we are asking ourselves, what kind of person will best fit the job? So somebody will say, we need somebody who have muscles, macho. But it's not every macho man who has been trained sensibly to defend people. So if you ask me as a consultant, that, okay, we want to take a bodyguard for the person, I'll ask you, will the bodyguard be using weapon to protect the bishop? If you say yes, it changes the dynamics. It means that we must look at somebody who has the ability to handle weapons. Even the weapons, we have to define it. because an arrow is a weapon, and a jackknife is a weapon. A pistol is a weapon. So we want to find out. So he has to use pistol. Then we want to find out if that is the person we are looking for. Then somebody who had been trained in using pistol, he has long experience in that. We'll even have to come down and look at the person's emotional makeup, not a trigger-happy person. So we ask all those questions so that we decide. If you say he's not going to use weapon, then I will say that how is he going to protect the bishop? He must be good in martial arts, so that if there is any attack, he will be able to defend. Yes, there are people who are like that. They are empty. You can give them one blow, they will be there. And so every job.
Donc, si on connaît ce que la personne doit faire dans ce travail, ça va nous aider à pouvoir sélectionner une personne qui qualifie pour faire le travail.
We are looking for an administrative assistant. We ask a lot of questions. What does the job involve? He will be communicating with people that call the office. And so then I'll quickly say that, okay, fine. What kind of communication? More English. Then the person must be apt in English. Even when I sit on the interview panel, I want to look for a pleasant voice. I don't want you putting some, hello, this is CRC. How can I help you? Sure. You want to look at all that because the way the work is involved. If he's a cleaner, what do I care about his or her voice? He's cleaning. So I'm looking for different things. But if he's going to be administrator that will talk to me, let me hear some pleasant voice. Let me hear good English so that I'll rate you. A lady called me, am I please speaking to Dr. Haizel? I said, yes, you are. Who am I speaking to? He said, my name is Mawuto, Mawu something. I said, Mawuto. I said, I'm calling from CRC. I said, oh, Prophet Emmanuel's church. He said, yes, please. Yes, that's professional. I'm cool about that. But in DB,
il dit que donc on ne va pas utiliser les mêmes critères pour sélectionner quelqu'un, peut-être qui va faire le ménage et quelqu'un qui va être à la réception.
Before you create job, ask yourself that question. If you know what the job involves, then you look for the right person to fit the job. And that's the problem. Because sometimes we put square pegs in round hole. Because we don't know that this is a round hole. Then we go and put square peg. If your organization must go on and go well, it mustn't be that who do I know to take over that position. Who is fit to take the position? That is what you must always look for. It's not who you know. Into Kojo Mensa brother, oh, now I'm finding share baby my end. Yeah, fan microphone share baby, sir. There be our skill, no, or what it takes before you give him the job. Are you together with me on that?
Donc si on connaît le travail, ça va nous bien aider pour prendre quelqu'un qui peut le bien faire.
Because what that the job involves will help you when you know the purpose of the job. The reason why you are creating that position. So if the person needs to be computer literate and everything, that is what will help you.
On ne peut pas prendre quelqu'un pour faire un travail avec l'ordinateur si la personne ne peut pas utiliser l'ordinateur.
And then the major duties that the person is supposed to be handling, it will help you to decide who has to take the job. And then the contacts. For some jobs, the person will be dealing with only internal contacts, so you don't have a problem. It's an internal issue. If the job involves dealing with external contacts, there are many things that you take in place. There are many things. If you want to be professional, I'm not condescending. Say, me you be a me him. But when you want to do professional things, this thing guides you. It guides you. Because let's say Bishop is sending his PA. He has a personal PA. And you know, Bishop likes to be in vogue. It will shine the dress anyway. Now, what's my PA about my office? Now be bani shed gusu ni yefunu shirt require a tighten into bottoms na and are not in yefunu di many dog good morning. I'm the PA of Bishop, and he asked me to come and see you because look at you standing there representing the
Il dit aussi, donc, il faut la personne doit...
You destroy the image of the church and the organization.
Il faut que la personne doit être une
Don't take these
représentation de
little
l'organisation.
things for granted.
Il faut bien
Image of an
représenter.
organization, it is very critical. If it's an internal issue, nobody bothers. I don't care the person who is working in the bishop's house and doing cleaning or whatever, but the one that will represent him outside, when we are choosing, there are certain criteria that we have to look for.
Il faut donner
It is very
une bonne
important.
image. Il faut que la personne donne une bonne image de l'organisation qu'il représente.
Many years ago, when I was working in an organization as the MD, we needed to recruit a front desk officer, a secretary, who worked directly with me. And then when I did the shortlisting, and when they did the shortlisting, they brought me, there were three ladies that we had to choose. When I interviewed them, 2 were very smart. Now, I had a policy that I only take secretaries who are married. And I had a reason. I didn't want guys coming to my organization office and try to chase my secretary. I don't like that kind of, you came to do business. So, and I know how these things are. So people will just be coming in as if they are coming to do business, but it's because they want to come and take your secretary out and all those kind of nonsense. So by the time you come, my secretary is wearing ring. She's wedded. So if you have any ideas, you know that this is a no-go area. So I decided I'll take married women as secretary. You are young, but you must be married. I don't put it in the advert because it could be discriminatory, but at the back of my mind, I know what I'm looking for.
Donc, il cherchait dans une organisation, il cherchait un secrétaire, et puis il voulait que la secrétaire soit quelqu'un qui est marié. Parce que si la personne est célibataire, les jeunes hommes vont venir. Et puis,
So these 2 ladies
ça va être
that I
difficile pour elles de
shortlisted,
travailler.
one was a bit smarter, that all things being equal, she should have been the person that I should have taken up.
Donc, on a trouvé 2 personnes.
And don't get angry with me, I'm just teaching. I'm talking about myself. But this particular one, she was huge, tall, very busty.
Il dit que l'une des dames était grosse.
The other one was smallish, cute, everything. But this huge one smart. The other one is not bad, smart. So I had to take a decision. Then I chose the smallest one.
On a sélectionné la personne qui était un peu
But
petite.
the huge one was very passionate. So, at that time I had not had my daughter. Oh, Mr. Haizel, please, I need this job. I know you love working with me. I say, yeah, I know I love working with you, but I've made my choice. You know what? I'll get you another job. I'll do everything together. I can't choose the 2 of you. So I chose the other one. And my colleagues on the team, they were wondering that, this one is smart. Why would I say it's me who is going to work with the person? And I have my reason why I'm not taking this one. I'll look for a job for her. In fact, I look for a job for her at STC. I made sure that I look for a job for her. So when they asked me, I said, I'm going to tell you, can you imagine me? I've gone to town. I've had a stressful day in business. Then I walk to my office. I switch on the air conditioning, try to put my pieces together, and then my secretary opens the door and goes, I say, whilst you are away. Oh, that's suffocating me. I need air. The point I'm making is that when there are many things you take into consideration when you are assigning job to people, many things. Because of the nature of the job, there are certain things that will come to play. If it had been another job, it wouldn't have come into play.
Donc, ça veut dire qu'il y a beaucoup de choses qu'on considère avant de donner un travail à quelqu'un.
There's a popular prophet in Accra. He's called Prophet Nanasai Sarkodie. And then I heard him say that the church decided that they want to give him a secretary. So they organized and got him a secretary. So he said the first day he entered the office, he had traveled. When he came out, she saw a beautiful, fair-colored lady. Also, shiny nails, and in chimney, what dressy fine. I'm saying, yes, young lady, who are you here to see? He said, oh, please, sir, I'm your new secretary. I said, my officer, and I'm Mrs. Sammy Babu, straight to fear. And I'm from the secretary, Midinacha Monfa. I look at this secretary, I said, listen, I don't want any environment that will bring me trouble. Nani nails, nani dressing. Debbie, he said, for 1 year, I had not stepped to the office. I was busy working from home. She sat there and she realized that, she herself resigned and left. When she resigned, I came to my office because I don't want trouble. So you know the job, you know the person you are looking for, and then you choose the person. For some jobs, you don't need an intelligent person. You need somebody who is strong. So you choose that person. For some job also, you need somebody who is intelligent. For some job, you need somebody who is very vocal, nanuti, anyway. So that's all I'm saying, that when you are deciding on position for job, think about what you have to think, okay?
Donc, on doit bien considérer ces choses-là avant de bien choisir la personne qui peut faire le travail qu'on a.
Marriage is not a job. It's a union. But even that one, all of you have criteria that you look out for before you accept that this person will take the title and the position of my missus or husband. Some of you, if we are to ask you today, what was the criteria that you look out for to decide the kind of woman you married? Because some of you, the things you will tell us as your criteria for that position, it will blow our mind.
Il dit que même le mariage, ce n'est pas un travail, mais quand on va se marier, on fait le choix. Chacun a son choix.
If you like food, I can tell what will drive you in terms of your choice. I'm looking for somebody who can cook and do this and that and that. That is your choice. If you are lazy and you are looking for somebody who will support your laziness, I know the criteria that you use.
Et chacun a ses critères pour faire ces choix-là.
If you are high challenge and you are looking for somebody to marry, I can tell the kind of person you will choose because you are looking for somebody to complement your challenge. Haven't you find out why short women marry tall men and tall men also marry short women? Don't look at me with that eye. Some of you, if I'm to check on your wife, I'll know you are guilty. But as we come to a close, there are little things you do that make your organization stand. At the Apostolic Summit, we are thinking of the future.
Mais ce sont très importants pour le futur de l'organisation.
God's servant says something. It's not just the anointing.
C'est pas seulement l'onction.
And he mentioned, see, be a student of history, contemporary history in this country. There are men who have been, they were anointed, gifted.
On connaît les personnes qui étaient
but certain things were not in place. They crashed.
L'onction était très haut, mais il n'y avait pas les structures.
I don't know how many of you know about Sopho Amwako. Highly anointed. There are people who've come and gone. There are people who started ministry. Everything was around them. They said that the tithes belong to me. And they'll quote scripture. very soon people will leave. There are people who didn't bring structures, who didn't raise young people up. In their old age now, they have challenges in their church. But we bring you here so that you will not make those mistakes. That you will be informed. That you will be the next generation. Like I said, where the world is going, the future belongs to the young people. And in this summit, I can see some older people, but I can see majority of you who are young. Our desire and our prayer is that 10 years from now, you have great ministry. And then we will look back and say, these were the people we raised at the Apostolic Summit. We'll come to your region and they will say, there is a particular person who is making waves. And then when we check the person, we'll know that, he has been at the Apostolic Summit. Then every effort that we have put in, people who have supported this with money and their strength and everything wouldn't have been in vain. If there is any grace that will help you, that you will live here and go and implement that which you have listened, I pray that you receive that grace. I pray that you receive that grace. At such summits, there are impartations. The Holy Spirit will always be hovering around. And anybody whose heart is right and really desires a touch, the Holy Spirit is always there to make that impartation. So I stand on this exalted altar, and with the atmosphere that we are all under, I ask the Holy Spirit, anybody here who have a heart to do the right thing, God impart that person with wisdom.
Amen.
God impart that person with wisdom.
Amen.
God impart that person with grace. Amen. Why don't you put your hands together? Let's welcome God's servant, Apostle Emmanuel.
Donc, ce programme.
Oh, come on.